It is my great pleasure to welcome to the podcast this week. It is none other than the former two-division world champion, my man, who I've been to many of your fights, Danny Swift Garcia. Is back in action. Danny, I'll tell the folks what you've got coming up. You're going to be taking on New Yorker Daniel Gonzalez. You'll be headlining your own Swift Promotions card at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Take place on October 18th. Card's going to stream live for those who want on pay-per-view on millions.co. So thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. We'll discuss your role as the fighter and as the promoter.
This is pain in the butt. That's what I know.
There you go. So I wanted to start off with, because I think when this fight was announced, Danny, it came as maybe a little bit of a surprise to some people, because I think a lot of people, frankly, I kind of wasn't really thinking too hard about it, but I was like, oh, I thought maybe he was all done. He gave it a go in the last fight. 13 months ago, you moved up to middleweight. You challenged Erislandy Lara for the WBA title. You were coming off a long layoff, even going into that fight. Right. And, it didn't really quite work out for you. And I'm like, Danny's got a young family. You just had another baby. You had won world titles in 2 divisions, have other businesses, made a lot of money, had a hell of a career. And I was like, boy, he's coming back. So my question for you is, what is the motivation for this comeback?
The motivation for this comeback is everything you just said. My company, my family, the loss to Lara. I feel like I can't end my career that way. I've done too many great things, even though he's a great champion and I dared to be great and I fell short. But I think everything you just said is what motivated me to be for this fight. Everything you just said, my fans, my family, and me just wanting to end this off being a boss and getting my hand raised no matter what. That's the most important thing for me.
Well, that fight with Lara that you mentioned, that took place in September of 2024. And honestly, it just seemed like it was a disaster from the opening bell.
Yeah.
It just did you just were not sharp. You were coming off like a 26-month layoff, fighting at your heaviest weight, obviously fighting another talented fighter. And
right.
What went wrong? Is it the layoff? Was it the weight? Just that?
I just think my spirit as a fighter, since I wasn't in the ring for so long, even in training, I just felt like I couldn't get my mind to that championship level. That spirit of a fighter you need. It just wasn't, it wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And I tried to fight through it, it's just one of those days where it's just
right.
And you're not.
Well, did you think, though, when it was all said and done, that, okay, you know what, I gave an effort and maybe it wasn't my night and I did have a great career and so I'm going to retire? Or did you always feel like I'm going to come back at some point?
No, I knew I was going to come back and just probably do one more fight and promote my own next fight, because I already been hitting it in my interviews that I want to promote my last fight and kind of just go out like that, as doing my own fight and winning with my hand raised in the air, and that's it. It's like my last fight is like, the Titanic, when Jack Dawson dies at the end, it's like, damn, I didn't want the movie to end like that.
Understand that. But
yeah, so that's how I feel. It's like the Danny Garcia movie cannot end that way.
So your Swift Promotions is the promoter of this fight. Obviously, that's the company that you founded, and they're putting on this fight at Barclays Center, which has been the host to numerous major fights through the years, including many of Danny Garcia's fights. You're obviously from Philadelphia. Everybody knows that, but Barclays Center has been I feel like it's your home arena in many ways. You are 7-2 there as a professional. You obviously hope to be 8-2 after this October 18th fight. The 2 losses were very close and tremendous battles with Keith Thurman and Sean Porter. What has that building meant to you? You opened it for boxing with your victory against Eric Morales, and you've been synonymous with their boxing program.
Right. I remember when I first won the title against Morales and I had the rematch with him, I really wanted to do the fight in Philly. I remember, let me come back to Philly and, and do like a homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "You're fighting in Brooklyn." I'm like, why am I fighting in Brooklyn? I want to defend my titles in Philly.
Of course.
Yeah, and then it's just like an instant marriage. I remember that day, it was like 13,000 people in there. It's actually the first world title fight ever in Brooklyn. And then ever since then, it's just like New York has just adopted me.
Well, first world title fight in like 80 years or something like that. Not the first ever, but suffice
Well,
to
I mean,
say,
like at the Barclays Center.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that it was the
Yeah.
first ever boxing event that they had there. You headlined a very big Showtime card, and besides that victory against Eric Morales, you knocked him out after having beaten him in the first fight, sent this great Hall of Famer into retirement. You had several other big wins against top quality names in the Barclays Center as well. Zab Judah, Lamont Peterson, Paulie Malignaggi. Obviously, the two close losses and really great fights against Thurman and Porter. Do you have a favorite fight there that you had there, and why? What was
Yeah,
what was about that
definitely.
fight?
I think my favorite fights at the Barclay is Morales, because I knocked him out, and then Thurman. That was an electrifying fight. You know, even though I felt like I probably did enough, but it's still like we broke all type of records at that time, and I feel
Yeah.
like those were great fights.
Those were definitely big ones, and I have to say, though, from my perspective, having been at those fights, that left hook knockout of Eric Morales in the rematch that sent him off into retirement was something spectacular.
Sure.
Plus the controversy, of course, with him coming into that fight with the positive drug test that the New York Commission allowed him to fight with. So there was a lot in the backdrop.
Yeah, I actually woke up that day thinking I wasn't fighting.
You know, I remember talking the night before the fight, just coincidentally coming back to my hotel room, running into you guys were on the same floor as me in the hotel, just by coincidence, and running into your father, who was very distraught about should I let my son fight because they, for some reason, the commission was leaving it up to you guys of what you're going to do. So I understand why that was like a really big deal that you did fight and get that great knockout, or one of the many memorable fights for you at that building. So, like I said, you face a lot of top guys in that building, but you've also faced a lot of top names not at Barclays Center. You know, you had the great victory by knockout to unify titles at junior welterweight against Amir Khan. You had the huge upset decision against Lucas Matisse, who was the big boogeyman at that time, big favorite. You went on, you beat Robert Guerrero to win the WBC welterweight title. I mean, I can go on and on. You had a lot of good wins even before you were a champion. Nate Campbell, Kendall Holt, for example. So do you ever think about the prospect, once you are all done and it's in retirement, about being elected to the International Boxing Hall of Fame, which I know is, that is the ultimate for any professional?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, I think in boxing, what makes you a Hall of Famer is fighting the best. Obviously, winning the world titles and becoming a world champion, that's one thing, but I think fighters are always remembered for who they fought at what time. And I fought everyone when they wanted me to fight them. I fought Keith Thurman when we were both undefeated young guys. I fought Amir Khan when we were both in our prime. I fought Matisse when he was in his prime. I mean, I fought prime fighters. And win, lose, or draw, I always came and I gave it my all. I sold out arenas. I won world titles. I lost some world titles. But at the end of the day, I think that's the definition of a Hall of Famer is fighting the best, win, lose, or draw. And obviously, world titles, and I did that.
Yeah, no doubt. You've been doing that your whole career. I mean, you didn't even mention you fought guys like Errol Spence when he was still undefeated. I mean, plenty of top names.
Forgot about him.
So you just mentioned all these top names that you did fight, and it's pretty much the litany of the best guys in and around 140 and 147. Was there ever a fight that you wanted among the bigger names that you didn't get in that career that you've had so far?
Probably Manny or Floyd.
Yeah, I get.
I always wanted to test my skills against those guys, all-time greats. It just never happened. But that's probably about it.
Well, I mean, those would have been interesting, I suppose, at that time.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're now you're going into this fight. You're 37. You're promoting this fight with Daniel Gonzalez. It's being billed as Farewell to Brooklyn. Now, I noticed that it's not Farewell to Boxing. It's Farewell to Brooklyn, which is obviously in reference to all the great matchups that you've had at Barclays Center. So is it in your mind that if everything goes well, that you are going to carry on? Maybe we'll have Farewell to Philly or whatever, or were you thinking this is really the end of the line?
I'll tell you one thing. It's an 85% chance.
Of what?
This is my last fight.
So what's the 15% on, the other 15%?
Just because I'm a fighter. Just because I'm a fighter. And, you go in there and knock somebody out. Now you're feeling all good again. Your name's buzzing. They're saying this, they're saying that. The phone might ring. But I feel like I've done so much in boxing. You know, I just don't want to keep. I don't want to be one of those fighters who just keeps fighting and keeps fighting. You know, at the end of the day, I got to worry about my health too. You know.
Right, and I get the impression, Danny, that some guys look. Let's just be honest. Some guys come back because they need the money. I get the impression that Danny Garcia is not in dire need of like the financial. I mean, the money is great. Don't get me wrong, but
Sure.
I can't
It's not
imagine
like
this.
extra money, good money, you know. But
Right, but this isn't
me,
like this is not a mega fight that's paying millions and millions
yeah,
of
I mean, I'm not even
dollars.
doing this fight for the money. I'm doing this because I want to win and I want to promote my own company. You know, so I'm doing this for the love of the sport. How many fighters could say they done that? And yeah, so I'm just doing this fight right here because I want to win. I love winning and I want to go out on my hand raised.
So if you do that and it does go your way and you have that great moment where, you know, they say in the winter, Danny Garcia, and you've done this in front of a nice crowd in front of the arena that you call home, uh, can you just walk away, or like what would it take you to bring you back to do something
I
else?
mean, if I look great, but if I look like I won, but it's just like, you know, it wasn't Danny Garcia, then it's like, you know, I don't want to, you know, it just depends how I win. But
Okay.
the way I'm training is I feel like I'm gonna have a great night. I feel like I'm gonna have a great night. I feel good. I
So
mean, the
you're
only thing that takes longer is for me to recover. That's about it. But everything else, I'm still good. I'm still sharp.
so you're coming off, like I said, about a 13-month layoff. And I wonder, what are you expecting from Gonzalez? Obviously, your opponent is across the ring. You got to deal with him. He has a good record. He's fought some good guys, but lost them, like a Chris Algieri, for example, a former world champion. He'll also be moving up in weight to fight you. So, what is it about Gonzalez that you looked at and said that's the guy I should fight? Like, what are you expecting for him to bring to the ring,
I
other than
remember,
the desire to put a great name like Danny Garcia on his record?
yeah. So, you know, I sparred him before for Sean Porter about 7 years ago, and I remember he's a guy that worked hard but never got the exposure. And I said, look, I don't mind sharing the ring, giving a guy some exposure, and you do good against Danny Garcia. You know, it might change your life, it might get you some bigger fights, but just giving somebody the opportunity, you know, on my night to try to shine against me. And some fighters never get that opportunity, and I know how it feels. So he's a guy with a solid record. Comes to fight, he's in great shape, and I feel like it's gonna be a good fight. It's a good fight for me.
So we talked a lot about the accomplishments that you've had, the great matchups you've had, the fact that you fought everybody, been a long career, done a lot of great things in it. Is there one thing that you're most proud of in the course of this 18-year career?
You know, the most I'm proud of is just being a world champion and listening to my father, Angel Garcia, being a good listener and just investing my money and just you know, I'm blessed and just now I'm just happy to have my own promotion and try to help other fighters. But I'm
You,
proud of a lot of things. I'm really proud of myself listening, you know, because this game is really you get to a certain level where it's like you think you know it all, and then you gotta have you gotta have some type of discipline to listen. So I feel like me making it this far is because I listened to my father. You know,
well, I
it's
was asking, how excited is Angel to get back in action? I mean, you know, because he's gone along as you've gone along. It's not like he has this big stable of fighters he trains. He's been out of action as a trainer now, I guess, for a while since you haven't been fighting. So is he as pumped up as this for this as you are?
oh yeah, he's excited. You know, Angel had a stroke last year, so it took him some time to get back. He's still getting better, but he loves boxing. This is what's keeping him alive. Is boxing. So this is he loves going to the gym. You know, it's what I've been doing since I was a kid. So this is making him stronger as well. You know, keeping him sharp, keeping him in the game with the young guys in the gym. And he just loves boxing. It's just when you think about Angel Garcia, just think about boxing because that's all he cares about.
I'm glad that he's doing okay after the stroke. That's great to hear. Uh, I've been doing this covering boxing for 26 years, almost 26 years, Danny. And of all the fighters I have covered, I've gone back and I've tracked this to some degree. I've been ringside for more Danny Garcia fights than just about any boxer in that time period. Uh, I believe I was at the Lara fight. I think that was my 25th of your fights I've been ringside for,
Wow.
including your professional debut I was at when you won the title at 140, when you beat Matisse, both the Judah, Spence, Porter. I want to know, do I get a prize?
Oh yeah, for sure. Listen, I got you. I'll think of something. I'll think of something for sure for being on my side and covering all my fights. That's a journey. That's a lot of hard work.
Tell me that. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you know, you take a lot of criticism. We all do, but it's a part of being who you are, right?
Absolutely.
But it's a
That was
part
just
of
sort of a little
being.
joke there to wrap things up. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah, yeah. No, you do. I mean, the media deserves a lot of. I think the media does deserve a lot of credit because without the media, now me knowing everything, you can't really have fighters. There's no way for them to get out there. So the media plays a big play in boxing if it's good or bad.
I hear that.
So, they ain't talking about you. You ain't doing something right. So
That is true, I suppose.
yeah.
Well, all right, October 18th, Danny Garcia back in the ring against Daniel Gonzalez. Danny, been a pleasure. I wish you the best of luck in the fight, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with that 15% possibility of fighting after this.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it.
You bet. Good luck to you.